You are now listening to
Likely to Dispute.
hosted by Monkas, Reed, and Tyler.
How's everybody doing? It's Cevan, aka the Monkers. Joining with me today, as always, is Reed and Tyler, and this is episode 22 of Likely to Dispute.
We have our final Dynasty rankings episode today. We have our top 30 tight ends, wrapping up our off-season content for the most part here. It's been a long off-season. This pod has helped us get through a lot of that. So hopefully we'll be wrapping up on a good note here, but potentially our least controversial one so far. But before we get into our rankings, we have to start with a question of the day. And once again, it's not really a question. It's the flip side of last week. Everyone's job is to roast each host one time. Hopefully there are no personal attacks here. We'll try to keep this one more related to fantasy. So we're going to start with whoever wants to start. Who wants to start?
I have a layup.
A layup. Okay, go for it.
Reed, you are a points per game merchant, and it skews your fantasy perspective way too much, in my opinion. You'll have a Travis Fulgham game. Dude, some random scores 30 points and he's shooting up 50 spots in your dynasty ranking because he has a 30 points per game. It's just I've stood by for the past few weeks while you slander Terry McLaurin and tell me he wasn't a wide receiver one last year because his points per game was lower than some guys who played less games. It's too much. And when it's week 10, week 12, somewhere in there, and half your starting lineup, including Kenneth Watcher, is on the IR, I'm not going to hear it because they have high points per games, and that's what you care about.
Okay, well, first off, I don't reference points per game in small samples as you're referencing in season. The reason you have not really heard me become a points per game merchant until now is because generally when we talk about fantasy, it's in season. And taking a 3 or 4 game sample of points per game is not representative. Over the course of a season, it is representative. And as I've proven, and can prove to anybody who'd like to hear it, points per game is more predictive of next season output than total points. So I even made you a calculator so you can see what I'm talking about.
My beef isn't with what's predictive and what's not. I just want you to call Terry McLaurin a wide receiver one, damn it. Because he was.
Sure. If you want to contend that he was a league winner, then that's your opinion.
This is a perfect segue for me to just pile on Reed. I think what just happened perfectly summarizes what I'm going to say. Now, there is always a reason for why Reed is not wrong. Basing it off what Tyler just said, he called him out about something. Reed immediately got defensive and started explaining why he is not that way. There's a million other examples that we get into on the day, but
no.
Anytime you get called out about anything, there is a reason on why you're either not wrong or why you're right. But sometimes you just need to take it on the chin and just
think about it. Everything you do with your fantasy team is for a reason, right?
Correct.
So you don't just do something just for fun. You do something because there's a reason to do that, right? There's a reason you have that opinion. There's a reason you made that move. All I'm giving is my opinion on why I did something. And I've shown, I'm more than happy to change my opinion if either new information is presented or you guys present a convincing argument. That happens often. Okay, that happens often enough in the offseason when there's no new information. I'm happy to adjust my opinion, but I fire back because why would I just sit here when we could have a discussion about why I think something?
Point B, you are getting defensive again.
Yeah, of course I'm defensive because you're telling me that it's wrong to have an opinion.
No, I'm not.
I should just back down.
I'm saying you get defensive.
Well, that's not a roast. Everybody knows I get defensive.
He just wants you to roll over here.
That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes.
Savon's telling the 3-time Linmar League champion that I should just roll over.
Oh, I know what Swan. And Swan's going to say, and how many years have you made the playoffs in the last 2? Or how many times?
I mean, we all know the answer.
Okay, well, mine is somewhat similar to that. I'm going to go for Cevan first because you, contrary to me, if someone calls you out, you don't have a backing for your argument. You just send a picture of your ring, which doesn't mean what you did was smart or right. And it's annoying. Like, obviously, awesome. You won last year, but that doesn't mean everything you're doing moving forward is right just because you won last year. So you're unable to take criticism without sending a picture, which, by the way, Pickles is in it, so it's fine, but of your ring. So I want you to have a backbone and back your opinion sometimes.
To be fair, I haven't sent the ring in a while.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've kind of just beaten every talking point to death at this point, so you don't really feel the need to
Holy
fight back.
He just sent it to me. What the hell?
Well, it sounds
No,
like it's his turn to roast you now.
Tyler, this one's pretty much a layup. It's an alley-oop. It's been a theme of all these episodes, but I think just you have very bad initial reactions to a lot of things. I could cite examples, but I don't
For
want
it.
to.
Bring up
Uh,
just bring up the first one, your favorite one that comes to mind over the pod.
um,
It's got to
I'm
be
trying to
Jaden
think.
Reed, right?
The Jaden Reed compare. Didn't you say you rather yeah, he could be droppable at this time next year.
He actually could be.
Okay. I think you said something about, and I don't know if you were serious, but you said maybe you prefer Malachi Corley to AD Mitchell, I believe it was.
Yeah,
That
I
was
believe that
the
was the case.
That was a good one.
there's I mean we have lists of them. I can't
We
think
have a
off
whole
the top of my
YouTube
head.
channel full of them.
Yes, but yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah, I won't contradict you there. So I got some wild takes.
There you go. You are
Hmm.
Savan's dream friend right there. You just roll over and accept
Yeah.
whatever he says to you.
Well, I'll come firing back because I haven't said
Let's hear it.
anything about Cevan yet. I'll go a little different route. And Cevan, I think you are so exaggerative sometimes when it comes to fantasy news of like bullshit that just does not matter. Like today, Devon Vele gets traded, and you're like, Pat Bryant stocks up. It's like, dude, like that's just who the hell cares? Like, and it's just there's so many times where it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf situation. It's like someone's like, okay, big news. It's like, but is it actually big news? And then I check Twitter, and most of the time it's not.
Yeah, like today at 5:12, he sends suspension 10 games with 5 exclamation points, and then nothing, literally nothing happened.
No, the 49ers
Yeah,
receiving
it
that.
was DeMarcus Robinson.
Okay, but it was 3 games,
I
and
just wanted to
everybody
get
knew
your
he was getting suspended.
I know, I just wanted to get your blood flowing a little bit.
Like if Savon's breaking football related to news to you, take it with a large grain of salt.
Small grain of salt, I think.
I'll settle with medium.
Okay. Well, my last one, Tyler. I feel like we've talked about this a lot, but for me, I feel like you are internally, you're the most nepotistic person here about your own players. And it pisses me off that if this were anybody else, you're like, you have a rational take on things. And then it comes to your guy and you're like, no, fuck yeah, this guy's awesome. He's my guy. But you don't realize it. Like there's a point of the self-observation of like, yeah, I know I'm higher than I should be on him, but I just believe in him. You're just like, he's my guy, so I love him. But you don't realize it, and it annoys me. DJ Moore was your number 22 Dynasty wide receiver before we bullied you into moving him down. Come on, man.
That didn't make the final cut. You're not supposed to bring that up.
So yeah, that's my roast. You're the most nepotistic person here towards your own players.
Hey,
Thankfully, because Cam Thorne's not on the pod, because
I don't
otherwise he'd
talk
take the
like it,
cake.
though. There you go. I don't think my nepotism I feel like definitely shows up in how not in trade talks. It doesn't manifest there.
I feel it's definitely been exacerbated by the pod. I don't feel like it's terrible. Like whenever we've talked trade over the past, I don't know, however many years, 6 years at this point, I don't feel like it manifests there as often, but maybe it will now that, we have more personal investment in our dynasty players than redraft in the past.
Yeah. I wonder if part of it too is like, I feel like I know I'm a good fantasy manager. I'm active. I make moves and everything, but maybe miss. I'm like over. I'm. I'm
Overcompensating.
not necessarily. I'm valuing that in my players. Like I'm saying, like I know I'm a good manager, so like I can make up on the margins. Does that make
Yeah, the
sense?
old, yeah, the old self-glaze.
Yeah.
Sure.
We love
I'm
a little
not.
self-glaze.
I'm saying a whole bunch of nothing. So
And of course,
good
the
roast,
ultimate roast. Stop slurping Ian, man. Come on. Slurp your own
dude.
team
It's
for once.
hashtag FEN. I'm not. Uh, I'm not going to say
What
it
week
all the
do you
way,
guys
but
play?
uh, don't doesn't
I have
matter.
Ian week 2 for the primetime matchup of the week. Monday
Oh,
Night Football.
nice. I was gonna say maybe whatever week Ian and Tyler play, we'll have to order a casting couch.
Wow.
Bruh.
We're going to move on now. I'm going to have to cut that out of the pot, I think. Dynasty tight ends, you all know the drill. We're starting at above consensus. Uh, David Njoku for myself, Evan Ingram for Tyler, and Chig Okonkwo for Cevan. Cevan has the lowest ranked player in his list here, but he has 11 spots above consensus at tight end 17. Meanwhile, KeepTradeCut has him at tight end 28. That's a hefty sum to be over consensus on a Titans player. Cevan, well, why are you so high on Chig?
Yeah, so he's going into year 4, contract year. There is no competition at tight end. The pass catchers
Gunnar
that the tight
Helm.
Not a
uh,
ball
d-
knower.
uh, d- uh,
Sorry,
sorry, yeah.
Trent's in on Gunnar Helm.
Did he get drafted in the 4th or 5th?
fourth.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. But let me just finish what I was saying.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's
Don't
on
roll
me.
over to him, Tyler. Come
Uh,
on.
so the pass catchers the Titans brought in, somewhat of a youth movement. They brought in 3 rookies, 2 drafted, 1 undrafted. Also, Gunnar Helmet, tight end. And then they also have Calvin Ridley and brought in Tyler Lockett. They lost Traylon Burks for the year, but there is a clear and open path to the number 2 target on the team. Over the last 2 years with Will Levis and Mason Rudolph, he's eclipsed 70 targets in both seasons, over 50 receptions. Touchdowns haven't came his way, but as we've beat on this podcast, it's not a sticky stat. Just with the quarterback upgrade alone and the path to targets, um, he's kind of like a sleeper for me. He's still young enough um, to where he's got a lot to prove still, but I don't know. I just like the volume. I don't think the Titans are going to be super like a great team. So I mean, negative games scripts could benefit him, but
Yeah.
I just like the vision. I see a clear path for him
Hmm.
being a viable
Yeah.
fantasy
I
asset
mean,
this year.
the equation's basically the same as Calvin Ridley. Everything else stays the same. Offensive line upgrades, quarterback upgrade.
Yeah.
So like what's there not to like? I mean, obviously there's somewhat of a floor that we've seen already in the first 2 years, but I mean, there's definitely a path to being a top 12 tight end if Cam Ward ends up being a good NFL quarterback, which he hasn't been talked about a lot, so I don't know if that's possible. Tyler, any thoughts on that?
I like Okonkwo this
No,
year
I meant
over.
on Cam Ward not getting talked about, so he's not good.
Oh, I
What about thoughts on Chig?
whatever. What about you? Want my thoughts on Okonkwo now?
Correct.
I think I don't have him as high as Cevan, so I mean that's already counter to what you said about me being super high on mountain players.
He
Cevan's
was a waiver
higher.
wire pickup. It barely counts.
I mean, hey, he's a damn good waiver wire
Hmm.
pickup. That he's um yeah, I mean he is what he is. I don't think he's gonna change much in the ranks personally. So I yeah, it's just a shot on Titans offense where it seems there's a lot of targets available. So he's as good a bet, if not
Hmm.
better, than most of them.
Yep. Uh, Speaking of tight ends with a clear path to targets, Evan Ingram, new team, Sean Payton offense with the Broncos here. Only one clear target competition ahead of him with Cortland Sutton. But hopefully he's going to be in a high volume spot with the Broncos offense this year. So Tyler has him at tight end 12, 4 spots above his consensus ranking at tight end 16. Why are you so high on Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram was on a maligned Jaguars offense last year. He only played half the season as well. In 2022 and 2023, he was a top 6 tight end both those years. So he's definitely produced at a pretty good clip in 2 of the 3 most recent seasons. So he's 30 right now. He was brought in on a 2-year deal. And I think with the Broncos offense, with Sean Payton being at the being on the sidelines there calling plays, I feel like the Broncos are trying to bring in a tight end to kind of replicate, maybe the glory days of Jimmy Graham, something like that. Give Bo Nix a weapon on the line there. And I think Evan Ingram fills that role pretty solidly. I can't remember if I said it already, but 2-year deal. And like you said, Reed, um, Cortland Sutton is the main target competition there, but I don't think they'll be directly competing with each other. Evan Ingram probably working a bit more towards the middle of the field, with Sutton working a bit more on the outside there. Devon Vele's gone. Big news for Pat Bryant and Evan Ingram. That's a joke at Cevan, but I am in on Ingram this year and for the next few.
Yeah, I mean, the you don't see many tight ends with 114 catch season on their resume, and he has one of
No,
those. Um,
yes.
I also have him at tight end 12. Cevan has him at tight end 25, which almost feels like a personal attack at that point. So we're gonna ask Cevan what the hell he's thinking there.
I do have him in another slide, so
Okay, we will pass on that for now. We'll go to David Njoku, who I have as tight end 9, and somebody that I think is just perpetually underrated because of the fact that he plays on the Browns, and the Browns are always really bad. But when you think about what he's actually done production wise, 2022, he was tight end 8 in points per game. 2023, he was tight end 6. And then in 2024, he was tight end 4. So you're looking at a bona fide mid to near high end tight end 1. Obviously has dealt with some injuries in the past, but essentially with poor quarterback play throughout all of it. So, he ended the 2023 season with Flacco when they made that playoff run, just going absolutely ham. Ended my redraft season that year because he had his career high in points the week I was trying to get into the playoffs. So he's someone that I feel like just again gets perpetually underrated. He's 29 now, but again, I think the production that you're looking at, there's really no reason to believe it's going to fall off anytime soon. So I have him at tight end 9, 2 spots above consensus, and I just feel like he's a super safe option that also provides more upside than he probably gets credit for by most people. Anyone have any Njoku thoughts?
Yeah, I'll save mine. I have them a little bit later.
Okay. Cevan, you have him 2 spots below consensus at tight end 13.
yeah, for me, I got him as a fringe tight end 1. Year to year for him, he's a mid to back end tight end 1. Super safe. I think the only reason I'm probably a little lower than him is just the quarterback volatility for me. It's just obviously they're starting with Flacco, and then we could see up to 5 quarterbacks play at some
5.
point this
Add
year.
Snoop Huntley to that.
Deshaun Watson.
No, I don't think he's going to play this year. I don't
We'll
think the
see.
Browns will want him to play this year.
So maybe up to 6 quarterbacks.
Okay. Wow. If they play 6 quarterbacks in 16 games, that have to be an NFL record.
Well, are they just not playing the 17th?
17 games. Wow. What year is
Fair
it?
enough.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree maybe a minimum of 4 quarterbacks will play this year.
Um,
Sorry,
a
Reed will not
minimum,
agree.
a minimum.
I will say at least 4 quarterbacks
You'll
play this year.
predict that.
Okay, minimum of 3. How about that? Can we agree on that?
No, I'd say a minimum of 1.
Okay.
A minimum of 2.
Sure. Well, whatever you guys want to say. I was told it was completely unrealistic to expect Joe Flacco to start the whole season for the Browns a couple months ago. which is just
It is.
ridiculous for you guys to say.
It
It
is.
Below consensus. Cevan, feel free to share your Evan Ingram thoughts now. 9 spots below consensus at tight end 25.
Yeah, I think this is just where the three, well, you two are more in alignment than me, but the big difference for me is um the age, situation, and contract all kind of combined. I know you said he had 114 reception season,
Correct.
which is true. The other 7 years, it was either 65 or low 40s. Um, probably just, I'm not a mathematician, but the average on his other 7 years was about 55 receptions. Um, so a clear, true outlier season,
So do you think
getting
he has more?
over
Do you think he has
140.
closer to 55 catches this year or 115 catches this year?
55, definitely. Before his 114 season, his high was 73. Um, just a clear outlier.
What I'm hearing you say is if you take out all of his good seasons, he's basically had no good seasons.
No,
He's
not at
had
all.
3 top 6 seasons by total points, Tyler. Top 5 seasons by total points, actually.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
All I'm talking about is receptions.
okay.
But yeah, obviously he's coming off big injury last year. He has a 1 year fully guaranteed deal, so I'm not sure I'm putting too much stock into that second year. To me, it's more of a not a revitalization, but I don't know I don't know what other word to use there because obviously
So
this is his first year in the Broncos.
how is he so low for you, but other tight ends where you, as you would say, you're going year to year with are significantly higher than him?
Um,
I mean, you have Cade Otton in front of him who may not produce for any years. You have Hunter Henry in front of him. You have Kelsey, who's nearly guaranteed to only be 1 year, 10 spots ahead of him. You just said you're going year to year with David Njoku. Who knows how long Mark Andrews is going to be around? So why are they so much higher than Ingram in your rankings?
let's see. It's not sort of the right way, but uh that's a good question. I think the best comparison there would be Hunter Henry. They're pretty similar. Um, Hunter Henry's been on his role, been in his role with the same team, and they're roughly the same age. And so we've seen it.
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't want Ingram. Just leave me out of
Okay.
it.
Rob, he is not looking to trade for him. Sorry, man. Tyler, were you going to say something?
Yeah. I was gonna say, so Cevan, do you think Evan Ingram has more or less than 503 yards this year? I'll
I would
tell
say
you.
more.
Okay, so Marvin Mims was the Broncos' second leading receiving in yardage with 503. How much more?
How much more than 503? I would say he's around like 600 yards. 60 for 600, roughly.
Okay,
That was
so
tight end
just
5 in 2017.
so just so 60 for 600. K Dot last year was 59 for 600, and he was tight end 14. So just some like you who's pretty pessimistic about Ingram, that stat line you have is still tight end 14 worthy. Just
Correct.
last year.
To me, I feel like I'm factoring weighing age a lot more than
30?
age plus injury. I'm
But
just weighing it more. I feel like.
I guess this is a little spoilers, but George Kittle's 31, and I know we all have him above consensus. So
Okay, George Kittle is an outlier career.
sure.
I mean, George Kittle is a Hall of Famer, to be fair, Tyler.
He is, but like
I
I'm
mean, he
just
doesn't have any injury concerns. He just got like a 5 year fully maxed. Obviously, that's not right. He just got a huge extension that's multiple years guaranteed. He's been on the same team for 8 years. He's the number one option in his offense. There's no
Jawan
questions about
Jennings?
he's been tied to his quarterback for for the quarterback's whole career. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, Evan Ingram's two great seasons in 22 and 23 are just, I'm not as easy to forget about those.
Two of his
That's
last
fair.
3 seasons, he was a top 5 tight end.
Yeah, and then he got hurt as a 30-year-old and then
Yeah.
switched teams and
29-year-old.
systems.
I mean, it is, I would say, objectively better that he's on the Broncos than the Jaguars right now.
Mm-hmm. And we know that Cevan hates Brenton Strange.
And Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly.
And Travis Etienne.
Basically everybody. Okay, we'll move on. Tyler, you have Elijah Arroyo, tight end 23, potentially the starting tight end for the Seahawks. Who knows at this point? Tight end 23, 6 spots below consensus, where KTC has him as tight end 17. Why are you so low on him?
Yeah, I don't feel super convicted in this spot, so if there's any Elijah Arroyo stands out there, don't don't come knocking at my door. I'm not standing on business for this one, but there's a lot of these second tier rookie tight ends in our top 30 here, and I wanted to talk about one that I was seemingly lower on than others were, and that's Elijah Arroyo. Elijah Arroyo was at Miami last year, and last year was really his only worthwhile season in college. He put up a 500-yard season with Cam Ward down there. He did get second round draft capital, and he did test quite well at the combine, which prompted the Seahawks to select him with that higher draft capital. I know Noah Fant is no longer there. I'm just a little bit skeptical about if Arroyo is for sure, starting week one, or if AJ Barner is going to be getting a good amount of snaps. AJ Barner did show flashes of success last year, so I could see this kind of being a situation where Arroyo and Barner split snaps, and Arroyo can't quite get his feet up off the ground this year. Um, that's just me. Maybe I'm off there a bit, but I think there's too much unknown, and I I have too many concerns even with the second round draft capital for Arroyo this year and beyond. Sam
Yeah,
Darnold, sorry, Sam Darnold too. I totally forgot to mention his name. I know we are all pretty skeptical about him too.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's worth noting that all three of us have him below consensus. Savannah and I both have him at tight end 20, so just 3 spots below consensus. But there's just kind of this weird, not weird. There's just this pack of young tight ends that all of us have kind of in the same range, and it's just kind of a pick 'em. What order do you want to have him in? And personally, like I see Arroyo, like I don't think there's going to be a quote starting tight end for the Seahawks. Arroyo is not going to do a lot of blocking, so he'll come in and I think he'll actually add an interesting element to their offense because as we've all mentioned, seen, and understood, like neither Cup nor JSN are necessarily vertical weapons. So I think he could end up providing a pretty valuable role if, like you said, he can kind of get his feet off the ground to kind of make an impact in this offense. So he's near the bottom of that tier of young tight ends for me. So a little bit higher than you, but I understand the skepticism after the lack of college production prior to his final year. Cevan, any royal thoughts?
Yeah, for me, I think the highest path he can get to in year one at least would be like the third option after JSN and Cup. Obviously they brought in Kubiak and they want to run the ball. And I'm very out on Darnold. So just the combination of those, the short-term outlook for me personally, not the highest on, but the talent more often than not supersedes the expectations. I might have used that right. So
You did not, but I appreciate the
okay.
effort. So if you guys are both out on Darnold, you must be in on the running backs like Kenneth Walker then, right?
No, offensive line's terrible. Just
I'm in
out
on
on the Seahawks.
Charbonnet.
Of course
Who's
you
gonna be
are.
splitting time?
Oh
Nepotism
yeah, at
101.
value, I would take Charbonnet over anybody on the roster.
I'm sure you would. Below consensus, Sam Laporta, obviously not the numerically greatest, but I am 50% or 100% below consensus because he is tight end 3 in KTC, and I have him 3 spots below that at tight end 6. for me, this wasn't necessarily an anti-Laporta take, but I definitely would say I'm lower on him than consensus. You know, Cam Thorne's tried to force him on me a number of times, and I'm just not buying it. I just overall, I've expressed concern on the pod before about what the Lions offense is going to do this year. They're still going to be a good to great offense, if not top tier, but it's just can't be overstated how much they beat down on bad teams last year. And I'm worried that even if they regress to a top five scoring team, their ability to support three pass catchers and two running backs at the same time, I'm worried about that. And I think Laporta, while he is, again, still like a bona fide tight end one, I just don't see the high end tight end one ceiling that we saw his rookie year. I just don't know if we're ever going to get that again. And part of it also comes from the two rookie tight ends that we just got in the first round that I have ranked ahead of him. And then the obvious ones that we all have. So again, I'm not out on Laporta by any means. I just don't know if he has the high end tight end one that we saw his rookie year. And these fellows are, Cevan agrees with me. He also has him at tight end 6. And so Tyler has him at tight end 4, just one spot below consensus. Any Laporta thoughts from you guys?
I'm a little bit more in on Laporta than you, and I think one of the big reasons that I'm okay with putting him a little bit higher is I do think he's one of those players where touchdowns are a little bit more sticky, um, or a little stickier. Watching Lions games, it does feel like Sam Laporta is a focal point within the red zone, and Jared Goff looks his way quite a bit, and he's able to find his way open and bring down touchdowns. He had 10 in 2023 and 7 last year when he was banged up a bit. So I'm totally okay with counting on Sam Laporta to bring in a bit more touchdowns than maybe other tight ends.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that right there is kind of my concern. Like, I agree with your point. And
Hmm.
then if the Lions score less points than they did
That's
last year,
fair.
where they blew everybody out of the water, then
Hmm.
that worries me for Sam Laporta because I don't think he's like a McBride Bowers level, like 8 to 10 targets per game guy. It's going to be a lot more fluctuation, but you need the touchdowns. And with the Lions score less, then that's going to be bad for Laporta specifically. So
Yeah, but if they're also if they're in closer games or trailing more, then you
that's
might
also
have
true.
the other
Hmm.
effect.
Savan, Laporta thoughts?
Yeah, still love Laporta. I have him at 6 just because I prefer the other two rookies above him. I mean, obviously, I think most people expect the efficiency and the scoring to come down with the Lions, but I think I lean more on Tyler's side of the stickiness of the touchdowns and the usage and whatnot. So perfectly fine with him being in the middle of these top 12 here.
Well, if touchdowns are sticky for Sam Laporta and the Lions are going to
Stickier.
score less, you know what that's bad news for?
Oh, Amon Ra
Mir
and
Mir,
David Montgomery.
Mhm.
Jameer Gibbs. It's bad
Jameer
for him.
Gibbs will be the focal point of the offense.
I know. We're all in on Gibbs, don't worry.
Yeah.
Off of the below consensus players, we're back up to a couple of risers, a trio of them actually. Cevan with his recent draft pick and Terrence Ferguson, myself with Theo Johnson, and then Tyler with another one of his own players in Jatavian Sanders. And we're going to start with Tyler here. Jatavian Sanders, hopefully in a better Panthers offense, hopefully with more work now that Tommy Tremble is not healthy at the moment. Why are you so high on Jatavian Sanders where you're 7 spots above consensus at tight end 18?
You just stole the show.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. You're good. I mean, yeah, it is a pretty simple formula for me last year. Rookie tight ends don't always show out in year one, and that's okay. Trey McBride is the most talked about example, I feel like, of that in recent memory, where he didn't really do much year one, and then year two, he was a beast. Not calling Sanders that, although that'd be pretty sweet if I had 2 Trey McBrides on my squad.
Then you could finally trade Trey McBride and stop teasing everybody.
That's I could do that. Um, Sanders last year, he was a bit inconsistent. He didn't do much to start the year. And then he had some pretty solid games in the middle of the year. He had 11-point performance, 15, 14, 9. I know none of those are anything to write home about, but it was significant enough in a mostly struggling Panthers offense. He got he sustained a concussion in the middle of the season, which hampered his production for the rest of the season. Bryce Young really started to look like something towards the end of the year. And I think generally people are pretty excited for this Panthers offense to see if they can be frisky or
Oh,
uh,
wow.
I just,
I think the word you meant was pesky.
not like a frisky offense.
Cevan, I can't say I've ever heard an offense be described as frisky.
I second that motion.
That's crazy. I've
Creeper.
no. Um, I think there's a
Scrappy,
real
maybe?
no, they're
Sorry, I'm
frisky.
stuck on the frisky. I don't think that doesn't I
I
don't know what
think
context that makes
I
sense.
I think they would have to trade for Jake Haener for it to be a frisky
Oh,
offense.
that'd be a zesty offense.
Yeah. I think there's a real shot that Sanders is the number two receiving option in this offense behind Tedorow and McMillan. Not saying that's a certainty, but I just like the opportunity he had. I mean, Tommy Tremble was a big part of it with him being the incumbent and just being in Carolina so long. But Sanders has shown that he can be a threat in the receiving game. He's not always going to be the best blocker, but I expect him to be out there for a lot of passing downs. And in year two with Bryce Young, I expect to jump.
Well, you know what they say, blocks don't score fantasy points. So,
That's right.
Savan, any
That
Sanders
that
thoughts?
that sounded like something else, but
It definitely did. I heard it too, Tyler. Um, yeah, so I've got Jatavion even higher than Tyler does, tight end 16. Love the talent and the situation. I don't even know if you want to call Xavier Leak yet the wide receiver two anymore. He's again, this is an opportunity for me to say he is not good at football. If I had to predict it, I would between the receivers at least. Obviously, Tet would be the one. I personally would call my shot and say Jalen Coker will have the second most wide receiver targets on the team. Um, but yeah, definitely a path to be the number two. Um, the only concerning thing with him is since Tommy Tremble was the incumbent, don't know if that word
That is correct.
works, incumbent starter for the last 4 years. He pretty much caught 30 passes a season. That so I don't know if that's an indictment on quarterback play over the last 2 years, if it was Bryce not targeting tight ends as much. I don't know, but he's going into year two, looking to make a breakout with a void in or maybe not a void, but a path to be the number two
Mhm.
option.
Yeah. I have no strong Jatavian thoughts. I'm around these fellows with my ranking a little bit lower, but in the same area, kind of in that same area of young tight ends that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So
real
I see the
quick,
path.
I just
Tyler,
want it to be clear here that Savon has now ranked Chigoziem Okonkwo and Jatavian Sanders higher than myself, hence making your roast uh it's it's pointless.
it's pointless.
I mean,
Wow.
Because
you're still higher on them than consensus, but I
and
just am too.
yeah, all right, fair enough.
I have Theo Johnson here, not one of my own players, contrary to you boys. I have him at tight end 21, which is 8 spots above consensus, where he is tight end 29 on KeepTradeCut. I just think there's a huge opportunity for him to get a lot of run. I mean, Neighbors is there, he's awesome. And then some collection of Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, whatever. Russell Wilson can still spin it. Jackson Dart, hopefully at some point, will be playing, and he's looked good in the preseason and camp so far. So I have a hope that the Giants will actually show some promise, I guess, on offense. Now that Daniel Jones isn't their quarterback, they actually have a chance to thrive offensively. So I think that the athletic profile that he has, which is an elite athlete, kind of literally hurt by injuries last year. He's someone that I definitely think could be a riser. And without coming into the rookie year, I think the hopes were a little bit higher. So I'm expecting him to rise up the rankings, definitely above QB or not QB, tight end 29 that he's at right now on KTC. So
Uh,
any
I'll yeah, I'll jump in. So I've got him at 30, which is one spot below consensus. You two are back to back 20 and 21. To me, I don't see the situation as clear as you, I guess. We still, after this year, I think we expect it to be Jackson Dart. We still don't know if he's a good quarterback, so there's that. Obviously, you have the target monster at the helm, and then you still can't forget that one, Wandale had 170 targets last year, and two, they extended Darius Slayton
Hmm.
um, to actual a real contract. So
Yeah, no,
I
no,
don't.
sorry. I'm not saying that I think he's going to be the clear cut second receiving
Yeah,
option. I'm
yeah,
saying more so with his elite athleticism and the flashes that he showed last year. I feel like there's a path there. So he only has to rise from tight end 29. I'm not necessarily saying I think he's going to be a stud, but I
that's
think he's
fair.
definitely going to get work. And now that again, Daniel Jones isn't targeting the slot every other pass, Wandale's not going to have that many targets. Hopefully there's more work to be had down the
The,
field with Russ.
well, if we want to tie it to Russ, Russ historically has not. He hasn't produced elite
Is that a
tight
function of
ends.
Russ or the offense that he's in or the tight ends he's playing with?
I mean,
I guess for me, like I've never been big on player X doesn't target this spot, whether that be a slot receiver, an X receiver, a running back, a tight end. I feel like that's so much more a function of the system that they're in and what's
Yeah.
set up for them, as opposed to Russell Wilson doesn't like throwing to tight ends. Like I feel like that's just so much more a function of the personnel and the strategy as opposed to the player. Like to be fair, though, I do think with Russ there is some element of, tight ends oftentimes are known to be working over the middle, and his height prohibits him from being prolific over the middle. And I think there is something to that. But overall, like at a veteran quarterback, like I just don't buy this player hasn't thrown to this position specifically very much. I just think that's more context than the quarterback,
to be
personally.
determined. We shall see.
Kyler likes throwing to Trey McBride, but he's short
That,
too, so you never know.
that's true.
Terrence Ferguson, tight end 18 for you, two spots above consensus from tight end 20. You see him as a riser in this Rams offense. Why is that?
Yeah, so Terrence Ferguson, rookie for the Rams. There's no question he cannot be higher than the number three option, and that's if he starts from the beginning of the season, which I don't think he will. Obviously they've got Puka Devontae, Stafford seemingly coming to the end of his career here. So, um, I mean, I guess we'll see in the years to come. But as far as Terrence Ferguson, um, a big thing for young tight ends and projecting them is their RAS score. Terrence Ferguson was a 9.32 RAS score, ranking him in the 93rd percentile, 92nd out of 1,338 total tight ends since 1987 in the combine. Um, just an elite athlete. The guys they have at the position, Tyler Higbee, who was coming off injury last year, finally got back in the mix, didn't do much. He's 29 or 30 or 31. I have no idea. He's old. And then they brought in Colby Parkinson last year because they knew Tyler Higbee was going to be um, hurt, and Colby Parkinson didn't fill the role. Everybody by now should know that in the 2024 draft, the Rams tried to trade up for Brock Bowers, couldn't execute it. So I think just all the signals are showing that Sean McVay has wanted a tight end to like in uh, a yak style tight end to put into his offense. And when they traded back with the Falcons, they just took the highest guy on their board, and that happened to be Terrence Ferguson, who was the third tight end drafted, first on day two, with second round draft
Uh,
capital.
Fourth tight end.
Sorry, who went in front of Mason Taylor?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. They were like almost back to back, I think.
Taylor's 10, Ferguson was 14,
Okay,
Arroyo
yeah,
was 18.
gotcha. Yeah, either way, second round draft capital, athletic young tight end, played in a high passing offense in college, had good production his last year. Fits I think he'll fit into the offense. I project a slow start, but as far as a riser, the KTC community just needs to see a little bit from young tight ends to shoot them up towards.
Tyler, any Ferguson thoughts?
I'm pretty skeptical about his situation and who's in front of him. I think there's, I think he'll be fighting for playing time for most of the year. I think he'll be third in the depth chart behind Parkinson and Higby there. So I have him one spot below consensus, three spots below you, Cevan. So I'm I've cooled off on Ferguson quite a bit over this summer.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't have any strong thoughts. Again, I just you see the path. Athletic, very athletic player where tight end is essentially the most important place to be super athletic. So, I mean, the equation seems simple, but there's a lot more to football than just being athletic and a good offense. So we'll see what it pans out. I'm one spot above consensus. I'm very similar to you two. So
Yeah, he's also been out most of camp with injury. I think he like just got back to practice this week, so a lot
probably
of
tough
time
to start the
missed.
year, yeah,
Yeah.
as an impact player. Fallers. Tyler, we're gonna start with you. Colson Loveland, you already have him ranked two spots below consensus. Tight end 7. Why is he gonna fall? He's only a rookie.
Yeah, I this is similar to some of these other fallers we've talked about, like Lad McConkey. Last week was my example of this, and I don't really know how much higher Colston Loveland can get. I don't think he's going to be Brock Bowers or Trey McBride in a loaded Bears offense. I don't think that's a hot take. And that's just it. I mean, we talk about the Bears damn near every week, it feels like. We probably do, honestly. And so with Loveland, he was pick number 10, and I get that. But Cevan will tell you how good Cole Kmet is, and I won't fight him on that if he thinks Cole Kmet. Actually, I will, but in this case, I'll use it for my argument because that's the way I roll. Uh, I just don't see how Colston maintains this tight end 5 ranking by KTC. I think if he, posts a 600-yard season or something, that's decent for a rookie. But is that really going to help him maintain a top 5 tight end KTC status? I don't think so. And so I'm, and it's just this Bears offense is just so confusing. And it's not confusing, it's just we don't know how the target breakdown is going to shake out. And so I'm not ready to plant my flag on the Colston Loveland side of Tyler Warren versus Colston Loveland. I have Tyler Warren higher. I think the only way for Colston Loveland is down right now, and that's where I stand.
Very strong feelings there for someone who owns DJ Moore. I'm not surprised. Cevan, the resident Bears fan, who was supposedly going to get out targeted by Colt Kmet until about 2 weeks ago. So let's hear your thoughts. You have Loveland at tight end 5, right at his KTC ranking.
Yeah, I disagree with the only way to go is down. I think personally he can get as high as tight end 3. And hear me out. Here's what's going to happen. Colson, let's say he puts up your 600 yards you're talking about. Let's say 60 for 606. He has a an above average rookie season. Maybe not in the modern NFL, but at least 5 years ago.
That's the Kate Otten stat line.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
It is.
I believe you. Anyways, so I mean, at this time next season, uh, DJ Moore will be traded, and they won't fill the void via trade or free agency or draft. They'll, roll with their new guys. And obviously, it was Ben Johnson's first ever selection as a head coach. He's gonna have a plan for him. You guys glaze Ben Johnson like no other.
Right.
Reed says his name more than I've ever heard. So he's going to find a way for his number 10 pick to be top 5 in KTC. So that's all I got for you.
Yeah, I'm with Cevan here. I have him at tight end 5 as well. I just don't see a way that he's not involved.
You
Even
have
if
him
he
at
starts
you have him at 4.
4, sorry. Even if he starts slow, he had a shoulder injury. It was known. They knew that when they drafted him. They knew he was going to be ready for camp. Even if he starts a little bit slower, sharing more snaps, I don't think there's any doubt by the end of the year he's going to be the main tight end in that room, potentially fighting for targets as the number 1, 2, or 3 on any given game. Not on the season, on any given game. So I disagree with the faller. Even if he has a 600-yard rookie season, I don't see him falling out of the top 10 unless he gets hurt with it in a major way. So I'm a fan, and I think his draft status alone will cement him in the top 10 here, sans a disastrous rookie season. So
Do you think he can get past Trey or Brock, or do you think 3 is his peak for now?
for now, I mean, yeah, again, pending something crazy happening with those two. I mean, yeah, anything is possible, of course. If one of those two has a terrible season, gets hurt, Loveland shows out, like, yes, but realistically, yeah, 95% chance or better that his ceiling is probably even higher than that is tight end 3 after what those two did last year and what, we're expecting them to do this
Yeah.
year. So,
Yeah. I never loved Loveland as a prospect. I wasn't targeting him in the rookie draft, so I've just always been lower on him than what consensus is, and so
Yep.
that's kind of where
Where-
this is shining through.
Where do you think he could fall to, just on this quick list of names?
Uh,
Like,
That's the
where
other thing.
would you put him
Maybe I should
between?
have brought that up too, but I think, I like I said, so I could have Tyler Warren above him next year, George Kittle, Hawkinson, and Kraft. I think those are the 4 names. So I could see him being around tight end 10 next year.
that's
Like
only
similar
that's
to
only a 3-slot drop.
it's still a
from
faller.
from Tyler,
Yeah,
right?
from me.
Oh, okay. So yes, that's fair.
From KTC it's 5.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he could be around the Dalton Kincaid territory. Dalton Kincaid as
That's
of
a good
right
comp.
now.
It's a good comp
Yeah,
if he has a 4-year.
That's
exactly.
fair.
Cevan Mason Taylor, another rookie tight end. You already have him 5 spots below consensus at tight end 19, but that's not dissimilar as all of us are below consensus on him as well. How far do you think he could fall? Why do you think he's going to fall? And is it because you hate Justin Fields?
No, I love Justin Fields. Let's see, Brenton Strange, 19. Oh, Mason Taylor. There it is. Okay, I haven't. Oh, he's tight end 14. That's wild. Anyways, he was the third tight end drafted. I think people were, I don't know the word I'm supposed to use, when the Jets drafted him specifically, because obviously they knew the quarterback at that point. But from everything I've seen, Aaron Glenn wants to run the football. He actually had a quote. It was either today or yesterday. A reporter asked him about his passing offense, and he said the team that won the Super Bowl had the best rushing offense in the league last year and played good defense. So if it isn't obvious, they want to run the ball. They've already talked circles around the running back room, being Brees, Isaiah Davis, and Braylon Allen, who apparently is super slow. Um, Obviously, Garrett Wilson might get a 200 target season. And then after that, the number 2 role is up for grabs, I will say. Uh, it's just the inconsistency we've seen from the quarterback targeting uh, really anybody else outside their number 1 or his number 1. And so I'm just I'm sketched on the situation. Everything's new in that organization. You're putting everything together. You're putting a Ben Johnson style offense with a
Dude,
Justin Fields. What?
just bringing up Ben Johnson for the
It's
Mason.
it's fair though. Do you think Justin Fields and Ben Johnson will work together?
I don't know.
I'm not saying Tanner Engstrand is a Ben Johnson disciple, but it's the only person he's coached under. Relevant, maybe not. We'll see. Moral of the story is he's also a rookie tight end, um, who, which is a hard position to be in most of the time outside the last 2 years.
Yeah, we're all below consensus on him, and I think all of us kind of share a similar thought. I don't want to speak for Tyler, but you kind of nailed it. I am hopeful because again, even in a low volume offense, passing offense, he could still be the number 2, but a low volume passing offense number 2 option still is not a very attractive option. So we'll see. We're all below consensus. But Tyler, any thoughts on Mason Taylor?
No, nothing really.
Okay. We'll get to my faller here. I have Kyle Pitts. Mine's pretty simple. I feel like this is basically the last gasp of air for him. Get him a quarterback, another quarterback change. Penix slings it around the yard. See what he can do. And if this is another year like he's had the last couple of years, it's got to be over for him. Like he's been through multiple quarterbacks. Not that any of them have been particularly good until this year, with Kirk Cousins at least to start the year. Like we're looking at the last kind of breath of air before people kind of finally sink in that he's not what we wanted him to be, which was a lot. I think everybody was really excited for the skill set that he brought to the NFL back in the day, but he just hasn't been able to do that, and definitely not since his knee injury in his second year, following what was a really good rookie year for him. So
Doesn't a little part of you just want to buy back in though one more
no,
time?
absolutely, I'd love to. I'm all in on Drake London this year. I think Penix is going to be great for the fantasy pass catchers on the team, and if he's ever going to do it, it has to be now. But my
Yeah,
worry with him is, if you look at what he was doing at the end of last year after Penix came in, it was not a full-time role. Like if you look at how often he was playing in those last three games, he was down under 50% on
yeah.
all three games. So you're worried about the role. You're worried about how they're going to use him. He's not quick enough to play receiver. He's not strong enough to play tight end. Can he separate? Can he actually catch? I mean, there's just a lot of questions, but like you said, there's always going to be that urge to try to buy back in because of what he was as a prospect, and he can still flash it at times. So uh, I think this is the year. To be fair, again, after London, Mooney's hurt right now. He could end up being a prime option in that passing attack, but if he has another 600-yard year, like I think people are gonna be really disappointed,
Yeah.
and it'll be a falling year for him.
Yeah. I think if I'm Deshaun, this is like the perfect time to trade him. Like right
Which
before the
I
season,
told him to so long ago, and he just, I don't know.
but not even
He's,
like so long, like right now, right before the season when like Reed just mentioned the Mooney injury and he's getting hype again like he
yeah.
does every year right before the season. It's just like I don't
But
know.
I mean, was Matt Ryan still there his rookie year? Was that who put up his rookie year numbers?
21, I don't think. No, 21 was Colts. Matt Ryan was on the Colts, so it would have been
It was Ritter?
no, it would have been a smattering of people. Oh, it
Like
was
Heineke,
Mariota, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember who was quarterback that year.
I can look, I'll
It
look.
was a mess.
If it's not this year, it will never be.
Yes. That's my
That's a
view.
good
If it's
take.
yeah, that's exactly what I said, Tyler. What the hell?
Yeah. It is.
So
Uh Matt Ryan was quarterback in 2021.
Okay, which
never
makes
mind.
sense.
22 was Matt Ryan's Colts year, I guess. Either way, yes, this is the last gasp for air for Pitts before it's all officially over.
I
So
like Cevan's thoughts. They were pretty original.
I know. High volatility. We see some Kyle Pitts again here for Cevan, and then two new names that we'll get to. Cevan, did you have anything else on Kyle Pitts, or are we good to move on since we just talked about him?
Um, I mean, I'll basically just summarize exactly what you said.
Okay, well, we
Uh,
don't need to. We
he's
just
either
talked about it.
going,
We literally just talked about it.
he's either going to be what he has been for the last 3 years or what he was his rookie year. That's a huge variance. He gets hype every time this year. This is the perfect time to sell. These are all my original thoughts. You guys just said it first, so
Good.
Yes, so Kyle Pitts was drafted in 2021 from Florida.
Are you just reading
Uh,
his biography
no,
now?
that's like joke. Like
it's
I
a
Okay.
thought
joke
Cevan
reading.
Okay.
was gonna go into
I
something like
laughed.
that.
I laughed.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Brenton Strange, notorious hater from Savan, but Tyler and I are both in on him. KTC has Brenton Strange at tight end 19, whereas Tyler has him two spots above at tight end 17, and I am in agreement while Savan is two spots below. So Tyler, why is he a high volatility ranking this year for you?
He's high volatility for me because I think he I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it all the time. We just don't know what Travis Hunter is on the offensive side of the ball yet. So I think Brendan Strange is either looking like the number two option in the offense, or as far as like maybe four or five in terms of the receiving ladder behind Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, maybe De'Ami Brown, Travis Etienne, whoever. So I have him as pretty high volatility, though I do lean on the side of thinking he will be more good than bad. Last year, I mean, his game against the New York Jets was crazy good. It was 11 receptions on 12 targets. And I know that's just one game, but it's not often you see any tight ends, regardless of how good or bad they are, garnering 12 targets in a single game. I know that's just a small data point, but I think Strange has a lot of talent. And I think the Jaguars see that too because they let go of Evan Ingram pretty early in the offseason when the new regime came in and they didn't make any effort, it seemed, to backfill that tight end position. And so I think this is them showing a lot of faith in what Brendan Strange can become. So I think Brendan Strange is good. I think he has upside that a lot of tight ends in this tier don't have. Here, I'll do a little self-reflection here. I think Brendan Strange has more upside than Jatavion Sanders, honestly, but I do think there is the downside as well of, maybe him falling in the receptions ladder and him just kind of middling the whole season and not being too much.
Yeah, he was like unique in a way that he was like a tight end handcuff last year for Evan Ingram. Like, that doesn't
Yes.
happen. Like, you have the high name ones like Isaiah Likely, but like that almost never is the case. But like when Ingram was out, you could just like plug him in and he becomes a weapon for your fantasy team. So I'm in agreement. I'm a little bit higher. He For the third time, I'll say it. He was in a pack of young players for me, but for me, like being in year three now, like given where he is, it's mostly just okay, it's finally his time. And I'm
Mhm.
hoping that this is the moment. Like there's, hopefully a huge offensive improvement. I hope Strange is a part of that. So, Cevan, any negative Brenton Strange thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not too much lower than you guys. I believe I have him at 21. Um, it's just a more skeptical situation for me. One, because I'm lower on Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence didn't build a rapport during uh, Brian Thomas's Brian Thomas Jr.'s rookie breakout season when he finished as wide receiver seven. That was predominantly off the back of Mac Jones. Um, and then you factor in they add the number two overall pick, who we still have to wait and see on what that snap percentage is going to look like. And so, for me, I mean, I think he can be the number three option on the team. I don't know the Trevor Lawrence lore on how many people he can produce. Or yeah, he had
Wow.
Christian Kirk finish as wide receiver 11 in 2022. I don't that no, that was also Evan Ingram's good year. So he was able to produce two top 12 position or people at different positions. Um, that was first year with Doug Peterson too. So I mean, it's possible. We've seen Trevor Lawrence do this before. I think obviously he's going to have to be the reason he's the quarterback, but I'm just more skeptical on the situation.
Yeah. I think the Jaguars, I think you could argue the Jaguars and the Bears are the two offenses that people really are hoping the biggest step forward comes from this year with
Yeah.
the coaching change. And like people just really don't know how high the ceiling actually is because of where the previous play caller came from. But I know expectations are very high, and I think it's important to keep things realistic for what they actually can do within a 1 year jump. But I'm hoping Strange is a beneficiary of it.
I think the uncertainty of those offenses is what has generated so many opinions from us and other people
Hmm.
about them, just because it's easier to have opinions about what's unknown than opinions and what's known.
Agreed.
Maybe.
People need to start calling him Doctor Strange. That'd be way
Yeah.
cooler.
Do you guys know what round he was drafted in 2023? Because I just learned, I thought I knew, but then I looked it up and I just learned.
I'm almost
So
positive he was a day three pick.
I was going to say the fourth.
I was gonna say five.
Both wrong. He was a second round pick.
Wow.
Oh God.
So
Ooh, I must be thinking of
You
someone
know
else.
who
Never
else was the
mind.
second round pick?
Ben's in it.
Oh
Ben
God, we
Sinnott.
haven't got to him yet. Okay, we're gonna have a quick Tucker Craft discussion here. He's high volatility for me. He's a stud. I think we all really, really like him. The lowest any of us have him ranked is me at tight end 8, which is at his consensus ranking. Um, elite after the catch, hopefully throwing the ball more now that Jordan Love is back healthy. Well, I mean, I guess he's not technically healthy right now, but from the knee injury last year, that kind of tanked their pass rate in the middle to back half of the year. Uh, a lot of their pass catchers are hurt right now. He has the makings after the catch to become a top 5 tight end with the right volume. Like he just is one of the best after the catch. And the Packers have been great. I mean, Matt LaFleur is a great play caller. He designs plays effectively to get people in space. And I really think that Tucker Kraft has all of the ingredients to be a nuclear option. But on the other side, they do have a lot of pass catchers. He has not gotten big volume in the past. So again, another year where he's just kind of fine. Like he was good last year, but he wasn't elite. And that makes it scary because you don't know what the pecking order is going to be there. And if he ends up getting lost in the shuffle or ends up being third in targets again, like it's going to be really hard to decide what to do with him because the makings of the elite season will still be there. But how much can you trust him if we have another year of pass catcher by committee, as Cevan would like to say, for the Packers? So, any other Tucker Kraft thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's cool the situation when him and Luke Musgrave got drafted. He was the latter selected. I think they really went into their rookie year wanting it to be Musgrave, but injury to Musgrave and Tucker Kraft kind of just showed he was the better, more dominant tight end. The path is there. I think getting a true wide receiver one in Matthew Golden helps. And then if Jordan Love stays healthy or is healthy, and they get back to more not as unbalanced as they were run to pass last year. I don't know if they were unbalanced, but get more to a league average pass rate, I'll say. Tucker Kraft has all the abilities to boom. He's a great yak guy. And in on Tucker Kraft. But I will say there's no world that he can be a top 5 tight end this year, though.
Flashback to the Sandy episode of the pod, and now Tyler has him ranked the highest of all 3 of us at tight end 6.
I'd like to formally rescind that comment.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, there's me walking back another dumb thing I've said.
We will get you a Tucker Kraft apology form here shortly.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And finally, our hardest to rank. I don't need to go over Brenton Strange again. I already kind of gave my thoughts on him. He's hard to rank because, again, he's in that group of young tight ends that could kind of go a lot of different ways based on how the season goes. So I like him, but he was really hard to rank within that pack of people. Tyler, you saved your David Njoku thoughts from the first slide for now. So what do you have on Njoku as hard to rank, 2 spots above consensus at tight end 9?
It's pretty simple for me. Right now, Joe Flacco seems like he's the best option for David Njoku's fantasy output this season, but I think Cevan and I are a little bit more in agreement that we think the quarterback situation will kind of be revolving in Cleveland throughout the year. That's not necessarily a hot take. David Njoku's contract goes through the end of the next season, which means next year he's a potential cut candidate to save some money, which in that case, who knows where he'll end up. I'm not exactly projecting that far out, but just in terms of the dynasty rankings, he's just difficult to rank because his situation seems pretty unclear to bleak, but at the same time, that's been a lot of his career is the situation has seemed bleak in a mostly subpar Browns offense, and yet he's posted year after year. And so that's why it's hard for me to rank him. At the end of the day, I do feel more similarly to you, Reed, and how I rank him than on the negative side of the coin. But overall, his future is just difficult to evaluate. But I'll err on the side that he'll just continue to post like he has.
So Tyler, let's go through a little equation here.
Christ.
You just said that you think David Njoku is a potential cut candidate, and he might not be with the Browns next year, right?
Yeah. This seems like a trap.
And
It does.
and you're saying that the Browns still produce tight end volume, given he's tight end 8, 6, and 4 over the last 3 years, correct?
Okay.
So you're telling me that you have no interest in Harold Fannin, though, who could potentially be stepping right into that role as a 21-year-old next season?
You're offering me bad trades for Harold
No, no,
Fannin.
no, 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 no. You told me I have no interest in Fannin. It had nothing to
Eh,
do with the offer. You straight up spit in Harold Fannin's face, the
Well,
FBS receiving yards leader last season.
in the context of my team where I have 10% of the top 30 on my team, do I really need Harold Fannin?
10%
No.
of the top 30. Would you?
Chigazim, Shatavian, and Trey McBride.
Oh, okay. I got you. That makes sense.
That's
I,
10% Reed, 3 out of
I
30.
I didn't know the 10. I didn't know what was going on there for a second. But either way, it sounds like you should be on Harold Fannin if Njoku's a cut candidate.
Yeah, yeah, I'll let you
I'm in on
roll.
Fannin.
Yeah, go for it. That's fine.
Cevan, 1 year of Travis Kelce, who the audience might like to know, in your rough draft of rankings, had him at tight end 28. He's now doubled that ranking to tight end 14, where you're now 4 spots above consensus. Uh, Potentially, if not likely, his last year in the National Football League. Why are you 4 spots above consensus, and why is he the hardest to rank here for you?
Yeah, for me, hardest to rank. It's hard to weigh. I mean, it's going to be his last year in the NFL. And so to me, it's hard to weigh 1 year of tight end 12 over in a dynasty aspect over the next roughly 3 years on how big of an impact that truly makes. It's not like he's going to, I mean, personally, I mean, I don't think he's got, you know, that league winner,
Definitely not.
that league winner, top three this last season. I think he'll be around tight end 12 and just what does that really do for you when, you know, tight ends 8 through 16 are within 10 to 20 points. I don't I don't know if that's even true, but
Well,
if
if
you're
it
not,
helps, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say if you're not top five, then it really doesn't matter. So I don't know. It was just kind of harder to put on a dynasty
Mhm.
aspect of it over the next 3 years.
Yeah. All three of us are above consensus. I'm also at tight end 14 and Tyler's at tight end 16. So, you know, we all, again, for the fifth time, have this group of young tight ends where none of them might ever produce a top 12 season. Whereas it's almost a near guarantee that you're getting at least one really good season out of Travis Kelce. So definitely a hard one to rank. He was a candidate for this one is for me, this spot for me as well. Tyler, any Kelce thoughts?
No, nothing else.
Okay. 3 players that all of us are above consensus on. We talked about Mr. Sanders in the beginning, and one fun one is George Kittle. All of us identically have him at tight end 3 behind the 2 big dogs, and Keep Trade Cut has him at tight end 6. Like, I think it's just criminally underrated how good he is at this point. Obviously, he kind of battles injuries every year. He plays, 14 to 17 games. He's always got a shin or a shoulder or a knee, but you know what? He's playing most weeks. And when he does play, he's the focal point of their offense. He catches touchdowns. He catches long passes. He gets a lot of volume. He's always on the field. And that's something that the tight end position that cannot be taken for granted. And I think that's reflected in all three of us having him, despite his age at, I believe, 31 right now, older than almost every other tight end on the list, have him as a third tight end in Dynasty right now. Any other Kittle thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, tight end 6 from the community of KDC is pretty disrespectful in my opinion. I think I would pretty strongly say this is just an opinion, not a stats-based thing, but a dominant George Kittle game is the most fun uh of a do most fun dominant tight end game to watch. Like a dominant George Kittle game, I think is more fun to watch than a dominant Brock Bowers or a dominant Trey McBride game. Just the way he catches the football and the yards after catch ability. I just think when George Kittle is at his best, he looks completely unstoppable.
You're definitely not wrong there. Savon, any Kittle thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, having the two rookies above him never playing a snap when Kittle year in and year out can be tied in number one overall is just rookie bias, obviously. But no, with Kittle, at least this year, he could easily lead the team in targets, receptions, and yards and touchdowns. He could win the quadruple crown on his own team. Um, and yeah, he's a dog. I agree with a dominant Kittle game is more fun to watch. It's because he's going like 6 for 130 and it's all yak running over people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's a super fun player. He's got an important role on a what projects to be a better offense at least. Uh, and yeah, great,
In a
great
in
guy.
a non-tight end premium league, he was the tight end one in points per game last year. Obviously, McBride and Bowers made their living off just a crap ton of volume, but Kittle had more points per game than them, the big dogs. So I think it's, again, like you said, we all love the rookies. We have them similarly ranked 4 through 6, somewhere in there, but you might only get 1 or 2 or 3 seasons left out of Kittle, but you know what they're going to be, and he's going to just be one of the best tight ends in football, period. So we all value that quite a lot over consensus. And then similarly, on a much lesser degree, Hunter Henry, all of us seem to value the consistency that he brings. Sounds like Shane Steichen right now. The consistency that he brings to the offense. You know what he's going to be. You know he's going to get a solid amount of volume. He's never going to really have huge spike games unless he catches multiple touchdowns. But hopefully, with an improved offense this year, again, we all kind of value the production you know you're going to get out of him, either as a fringy tight end one or a very solid second tight end to complement maybe a higher upside piece.
Yeah, for me, I think he fits the perfect title for him would be just a tight end stabilizer. Like you know he's not going to goose you, but he doesn't really have that, weekly
Yeah.
number one overall finish guy. I will say I think a sneaky addition for Hunter Henry is getting Josh McDaniels back as an offensive coordinator. Obviously, he was offensive coordinator in the Gronk Hernandez days. Um, the game's evolved over the last 15 years, but uh, just a sneaky underlying there.
What if I told you that he goosed you in the very last game of last season?
Because they pulled their starters after one play.
He played 57% of the snaps.
That's the same thing. It was Joe Milton. You just told me he's
No,
a
sorry,
shit quarterback.
no, not the Patriots last game. Week 17. He did not play in week 18. Week 17, he
In the
played
championship?
57% of the snaps, 2 targets, 0 catches.
Week 17 was the championship. I played Kincaid.
I would know. You just said you just said in your thing, he's never going to goose you, and he goosed you. But Cevan, do you remember what was Drake May's first start? Do you remember what week or what team it was against?
It's, Texans,
Okay, Texans was
week
week 6. Yeah. Okay, so in Henry's first 5 games with Brissett, his targets were 3, 12, which was weird. 3, 3, 4. And then once May took over, 5, 9, 6, 8, 4, 9, 8, 9, 4, 8. So like his volume
Yeah.
ticked up dramatically with May, and hoping that stays in place here this year as the Hunter Henry owner in our league. Tyler,
Yeah.
any Henry
I'd,
thoughts?
I'm like above consensus against my will on
Oh
Hunter
boy,
Henry.
that's sad.
I don't want to be above consensus. I
Do you
don't.
hate production?
He's just he feels like an eternal bench tight end.
Eternal bench tight end.
Like that's just always where he's gonna be.
That makes sense. You're the snotty rich kid that has Trey McBride looking down on all of us who don't have fancy tight ends.
That's right. So I have him 3 spots above consensus, whatever. I'm not Cevan who thinks he's gonna have a breakout year at age 30 or whatever.
What if I told you that in Drake May's starts last year, he finished as a top 12 tight end in 6 of 10 games? Is that an
Awesome.
eternal bench tight end, buddy?
Let's see how the new system works out for him.
Yes, we will.
It should work way better, dude. I hate just like Reed's gotten involved with this whole Colts things, dude. The Patriots staff, I think I went on a rant in our chats multiple times throughout the season on how dog shit Gerard Mayo and Tommy Reese, Luis Reese Zamet, whatever that guy's name was, just pissed me off.
Well, I
Sorry.
hope your emotional investment in the Patriots is going better than mine.
Yeah, so far so good.
Lots of time left for him to get benched. below consensus, Isaiah Likely, Cade Otton, Dallas Goedert. Cade Otton was a surprising one to me, not necessarily because he's a big name, but we talked about him at length in I believe Schrader's episode, and I thought we would all kind of be, well, I thought Tyler and I would be close to or above consensus, but tight end 21 had me a little surprised we were below consensus on him.
Same here. I would have thought we would be above, and so I don't know, this 21 versus 22 for me, it's
yeah, I mean, you're basically at consensus. One isn't that
Right.
big of a difference.
right.
Yeah.
Swan's a Cade Otton hater.
Yeah, we all knew that one. That's well documented. Even in the creamsicle uniform, he's going to hate on Cade Otton.
Yes, indeed. Can we talk about Isaiah Likely before
Yeah,
I
I
forget
was
what I'm going to say?
just going to, if you want to start, have at it.
Yeah, so now I think you guys are going to like this, but so the way I see it,
You have two quarterbacks that can score you big points.
yes. So to me, Isaiah Likely is the Jalen Warrens of Justin Herbert's.
Dude.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. That the Justin Herbert part doesn't make sense.
Like
I-
he's the what if, and Isaiah Likely actually is the what if
No.
because yes, he literally is. The
I
only
see what you
reason
were
he's
going
at-
for.
Yes, the only reason he's at tight end 12 is because everybody wants Mark Andrews just to be done, when reality is he's not. And the only I know Jim or John, one of the Harbaughs,
John,
Jimmy Johns.
Jordan.
Okay, I actually don't know which Harbaugh it
It's
is.
John is the Ravens coach.
Okay, John Harbaugh said he expected Likely to be a Pro Bowler this year before he got hurt. I don't know how much
He said all pro.
well, yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't know how much I truly buy into that. There was Mark Andrews speculation, so obviously he's going to get traded. He's
Talking
not
to the
getting
guy who
traded.
thinks Ja'Cory Krosky merits worth a second round pick because Brian Robinson might get traded.
Exactly.
You were defending that take.
No, I wasn't defending the
Just continue.
well, I wasn't defending the guaranteed to be traded
I did
part.
not bring up Bill here. Just to
What
be
you
clear.
meant to say, Cevan,
Anyways.
was that Isaiah Likely is the Justin Herbert of Travis Kelce's. He's the biggest what if at the position.
Okay, can we? He is not
No,
a
he's
what
the
if.
he's the
He is
Jalen
definitely
Warren.
a what if.
He is definitely a what if.
No,
because
he's not.
Because people
Yes,
think
he
he'd be a
is.
fucking stud if he was actually the starting tight end.
Because
And
all
his-
he's been is a stud when Mark Andrews isn't playing.
Exactly. So what if Mark Andrews isn't on the team?
Welcome to the club, Tyler. You figured out what
my.
you figured out what we're saying. Attaboy, Cevan. I'm all the way with you on your first one was
Okay,
wrong,
thank you.
but the idea was genius
Thank you.
because I had
Are you-
similar thoughts. A tight end 12 ranking for him is egregious to me that he's that high. He's not even the starting tight end on his own team. He doesn't really perform when Andrews is at full health. Like he had some big games last year, but Andrews was still working back from that tightrope surgery from the hip drop tackle. But like, why do we have a backup tight end ranked as tight end 12? That's just crazy to me.
I agree. Tyler, are you with us?
Somewhat. I
He's
mean,
trying to figure out the analogy still.
No, I am with you. Yes, tight end 12's high. I agree, but I mean, if this is Dynasty rankings, which they are, then Isaiah Likely seems poised to be starting at some point in the
Okay, how old do you think Isaiah Likely is?
He's 25.
Okay, so you think a 25-year-old that has yet to start consistently for his own team, how when does he have to start starting before
That's
like
not an indictment on him.
well, I understand that, but we're in year 4 now, and you're saying if he starts at some point.
No. When he starts.
Okay, well,
Do you really think he will never be a
no,
starter?
I'm not saying he won't, but I'm saying the earliest he will do that is age 27 and on his second contract.
There's just no way you can project that.
Well, he's 25, right? Or sorry. I was thinking I forgot how close we were to football. I was thinking he was going to be 26 this year. So at the earliest, it's his age 26 season on his second contract, potentially not even with the Ravens after this, because this is his 4th year with them.
Contract here, yep.
So
Like I have him ranked the same as Cevan, but I can see how he has shown enough when he has started to be ranked this high.
and actually, it's interesting. I just pulled him up. We did these rankings a few days ago. He's actually up to tight end 10 now.
Okay,
Not that he's
that's
jumped. It's just like little
yeah.
like switching in rankings. But tight end 10 for a guy who's not the starter on his own team, crazy
And hurt.
and hurt, bananas. There's still an edge in fantasy football. Except like I just like I love KTC. It's a fantastic resource, but like who actually values him that high? Like nobody that doesn't own Isaiah Likely would trade a price that's worthy of tight end 10 to 12 in Dynasty for him. It's just
That's
crazy to me.
that's
We'll
true.
say Ian loves Isaiah Likely. I
Well,
tried trading for him.
he tried to trade me him, and then the Mark Andrews might get traded rumors came out, and then he was suddenly off the block again. So hashtag fuck Ian. Tight end
We
ranks.
we didn't talk about Goddard.
Oh, okay. Do we need to talk about Dallas Goedert? He's so boring.
I think that
He's like
sums it
Hunter
up.
Henry, except no upside. Sorry,
Yeah.
he does. If one of AJ Brown or Devontae Smith get hurt, he becomes a viable fantasy option. Until
take-
then, he's just like, Tyler, what did you call Hunter Henry?
An eternal bench tight end.
Yes, unless one of the guys ahead of him gets hurt, that's Dallas Goedert.
I'll take Dallas Goedert over Hunter Henry.
Okay, buddy.
That's
That's-
not even true by your own rankings.
Uh,
Tyler,
No, yeah, it
come
is by
on.
one spot.
yeah,
By one
come,
spot.
dude.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong name. You got lucky.
Dang. Let's go. I know myself.
Tyler, when do you think the last time Dallas Goedert finished as a top 12 tight end was that Hunter Henry did last year?
How many times did
No, when was the last time he did it?
Dallas Goedert?
Correct.
Last year sometime?
No, as like on a season.
Oh, on a season? 2022.
Nailed it. 2022, he was tight end 12.
Sure.
Hunter Henry did that last year, and they're the same age.
Well,
Dallas Goedert's 30?
Yes.
I would have guessed like 27, I'm not gonna lie.
2018 was his rookie year.
Goddard's always been banged up though, so
Well, you hate guys that are banged up. Trust me, you hate them.
okay.
He's going to miss one game. I can't draft him now. I can only draft guys that are going to play 17 games.
I will admit, I will hear you out on your points per game argument with George Kittle.
Oh, so it applies to some players that miss a few games, but not other players.
Yes.
You know, Kenneth Walker only missed a few games until last year. And, you know, Kittle's also had some seasons where he missed
So
a significant chunk of games.
Kittle's played multiple full seasons, by the way.
Okay, so has Kenneth
No.
Walker.
I was saying that
No, he
to
hasn't.
Cevan.
When was the last time that you think George Kittle played every single game in the regular season?
2023.
Tyler, what do you think the
Yeah.
last time George Kittle
Well,
played a
I'm-
full season was?
I'm looking.
Well, I'm asking you to guess. I'm not asking you for the answer. I have the answer.
2023.
2018. So don't give me any of this
Okay.
BS about
Well, that's
playing a full
20
season.
2023 is when they added the 18th game.
Correct.
No, it was 2021.
Well,
And
he
there was
played
never an 18th game.
Or-
17th.
18th week.
Shut the hell up.
He's just like Aaron Jones. He never plays a full season. But the point,
This is just. Go
we've
ahead.
gone off the rails because Cevan wanted to bring up points per game and how it applies to some players, but not others.
I was only talking about George Kittle.
Tight end ranks 1 through 10. No, we've talked about a lot of people on here. I don't think there's any huge surprises. One player we haven't talked about is Tyler Warren. We've talked about basically everybody else on the slide at some point. Does anybody have any? Tyler, you have Tyler Warren. Oh, actually, Cevan has Tyler Warren ranked the highest, ahead of Colston Loveland. We all have him at 4 or 5. Cevan, I guess by default, you're the highest here. But I guess Tyler has him a tier down. So I guess we'll check both of you guys on Tyler Warren here. What are your thoughts? We're going to start with Cevan because you're higher.
Yeah, Tyler Warren versus Colston Loveland, if we just want to go that route. Both top 15 picks. To me, I think Tyler Warren's going to be the feature of the passing offense. He's going to be featured. The feature? It's going to be
Featured.
centered around Tyler Warren. And I'm still waiting to figure out. I mean, everybody's waiting to figure out how the Bears is going to shake out. And so that's just why I give the edge to Tyler Warren.
Tyler, you have him a tier down from that second tier of Kittle and Laporta. Why is that?
I'm just not ready to put two rookies, albeit high drafted rookies, in the same tier as top 5 dynasty tight ends or
Mhm.
guys who have put up top 5 production. So that's the only reason I put them a tier below.
Yeah, very fair. I have no problem with that. But they were interchangeable to me. I was simply going by draft capital. I think the Bears offense is in a more stable footing moving forward. Not just this year, but hopefully in the future years for as long as you want to roster Colston Loveland. So I went there, but could have gone either way. I wouldn't fight either of them. So any other,
Yeah.
go ahead.
We all have Dalton Kincaid at 10
Mhm.
overall. I'd have him one tier up, but
Was
is
there a
it
follow up to that?
well, I'm trying to formulate
Okay,
a
how about I'll formulate it.
yes.
Why is Dalton Kincaid a league winner in your mind? Because I was told he was by you.
Okay, did I say he is or did I say he has the
Whoa, getting defensive
capability?
there.
No, I'm asking you because you're putting words in my mouth that I didn't say.
Why do you have Dalton Kincaid in tier three while Tyler and I have him as the start of tier four?
Um,
Why does he belong with Tucker Kraft, who you love, TJ Hawkinson, and Kyle Pitts?
well, I guess if I can just compare, TJ's kind of the odd one out in this group, but between Pitts and Kraft, I mean, all three of these players showed something. Kits and Kin sorry, Pitts and Kincaid more in their rookie year showed what the level they could be. I know Pitts had the highest or the best rookie year. Kraft last year showed. So to me, it's just younger players, and I mean, and then T.J. Hawkinson. Uh, but Kincaid's still paired with Josh Allen. He still has first round draft capital. A lot of the reports out of the Bills were they were signaling. That's not the right word. They were
Indicating.
no, not indicating. They were doing something to say last year was a recipe for um was adjourned to his injuries. And so I'm not ready to say he's a bust yet because he showed what he can do his rookie year. And he's tied to the best quarterback in football.
Yup. Okay.
What about you guys? Why do you guys have him at 10?
Why do I have him at 10 or why do we have him a tier below you?
Why do you have him at 10?
Because everything you just said, except I think if he was going to be a true riser for me, he would have done it last year. I think he probably just settles in this 10 to like 15 range for
Yeah,
most of
but
his career.
that was my point, which was they just drew it up to injuries. They
Well, yeah,
chalked it
they
because of
did, sure. I mean,
I
I'm
know.
not doubting that injury didn't play a factor, but I don't see top end upside anymore. And I feel like everybody above him could finish in the top five. And I don't think that there's a world where, okay, there is a world. It's increasingly unlikely that Kincaid has top five ceiling that we may have hoped going into last year, considering he was getting drafted with Bowers and McBride at this time last year, at least in dynasty startups.
I'm gonna out Tyler here. He offered me a trade centered around Kincaid and uh McBride.
And you
What?
didn't, there could have been like
It,
five first round picks and you should have accepted it
no,
still.
I was sending more, but
Well, yeah, I'd hope so.
I declined.
Okay. Those no. Those that's just like talking. Like, hey, would you do this or this? There was not like a formal trade offer.
Tyler, why are you shopping Trey McBride for
I'm
fucking Dalton Kincaid, man?
it's
There
just
was
see
more.
I don't
it's
care
just
what the more was. If the headliner is Dalton Kincaid, it's not enough.
it's just flirting. It's like there's
Yeah.
You're going to be a married man in 10 days. You shouldn't be flirting.
uh
Tight ends 11 through 20. Uh, again, I was going to say it's just like for the fourth time here. We have a lot of names we've already talked about. Just about everybody on here at one point or another. Cevan's already given a whole rant on Jake Ferguson. If you want to listen to that, go back to my episode. It was probably not worth listening to, but Cevan had fun doing it. So we let him do what he wants sometimes. Any thoughts on these tiers here for you guys?
Yeah, I really like that we're all in on Mark Andrews. Um, that's good for me.
I just kind of like we were talking about with Laporta in a different way, with a real track record. Like he is a legit red zone threat, even if he's not getting the. I mean, I also kind of feel like Andrews, like his quote unquote track record has kind of been blown out of proportion. He had one really, 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 really good year, and then every other year he's either been hurt or mid. And I feel
So
like
you know
outside
who,
of touchdowns,
you know who that sounds a lot like?
no, who is it?
Oh, the guy you have one spot ahead of him.
Evan Ingram. Correct. Yeah,
No,
that makes
well,
sense.
also Ingram has had a few really great
Yeah,
years.
but he's had one outlier year, and Andrews had one
Sure.
outlier good year as well.
Yeah.
But they've both had other solid years. But like I feel like Andrews, like for a couple years, for the couple years following his really, really good year, he was like in Kelsey's tier of being
Yeah.
drafted. And I feel
Okay.
like that's true. His ADP was
It is
around
true.
Kelsey for multiple years after that season.
Yes. Okay,
So
well,
I feel like it gets blown out of proportion how good he's actually been because outside of that really elite year, when he was elite, he's just been solid.
okay, so you guys both have Ingram ahead of Andrews. Ingram,
Hmm.
they're the same age.
No,
If I had to
Really,
bet on who's scoring more
I
points this year, I'd bet on Ingram
okay,
because that was going to
what
be your
I'm
question, wasn't it?
no, it wasn't going that wasn't going to be my question.
Okay.
I'm saying if everything's almost the same, like whatever wise, then why pick the guy who's coming off injury on a new team in a new scheme for the first time in his career?
Because I think he's going to score more fantasy points this year.
Okay, sure, that works.
I think Ingram is more likely to get more targets.
And Mark Andrews caught 11 touchdowns on like 14 red zone targets last year.
I mean, Mark Andrews scores a lot of touchdowns. Evan Ingram
No,
doesn't.
he does. No, I'm not arguing that. That's the only sticky thing about his game is that he scores touchdowns. But I'm betting on Ingram getting more volume and enough touchdowns than Andrews running as pure as he did on
What's
touchdowns.
enough touchdowns? Because his career high is 6. He's like a
5 or 6.
he,
I'm fine with that.
yeah, he's like a 2 to
This
5
could be the
touchdown guy.
second best offense he's ever been on in his career. So besides that one good Jaguars year where they almost beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
It could be, or it could be a sophomore slump
It could
because
be we could all
no,
be dead
because
by Sunday before this
Ty-
releases, but what do you want to say about that?
Tyler has said multiple times he's out on the Broncos, but he's in on Evan
No,
Ingram.
yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm ignorant to the fact that the Broncos offense will do something.
But doing something, I mean, they have a worse
I
quarterback.
I gave you their second leading receiver in yardage last year with 503 yards, Marvin Mims.
That's fair, but I mean, they didn't have anything. They didn't have tight ends. They didn't have running backs.
That's my point. It's like you say it's like a bad thing that Ingram's on a new team, but I think that's a good thing. Like they obviously wanted this guy. They signed him to a 2-year deal. He's shown success in the past. And so it's like in my mind, it feels like he's the clear number 2 receiving option in Denver. Even if I'm out on the Broncos offense as a whole, I still think he'll be productive enough.
I'm with Tyler here. I'm an Ingram fan, and I would pick him to score more points than Mark Andrews this year.
Do we want to bet on it? Points per game? Minimum 14 games?
They're both injury prone. Why don't we do 12?
Deal.
12 points per game, add it to the list. I'm the lowest on Kyle Pitts here. Not a fan. We talked about that. Last slide. Cole Kmet with an ungodly ranking of 22 in Cevan's ranking. Cevan, just embarrass yourself for a few minutes and tell us, sorry, not a few minutes. Let me rephrase that very clearly. Please do not talk for a few minutes. Please talk for a maximum 45 seconds of why you have Cole Kmet above Hunter Henry, who we just glazed for like 10 minutes.
Short and sweet.
Or Evan Ingram.
Short and sweet, where our list is 30 deep. Cole is 30 on KTC. So, I mean, I had him in the top 30. He's put up a good season before. He's going to be in the best offense. He's still young. He's only 25. Massive contract.
Massive.
Yes, I'm under the belief it'll be DJ gone next year and they'll keep Cole. I don't think I think Cole's like a captain type. I think he fits everything they got going on. And so even if he is to move on, he is a good enough NFL tight end to
Moving on will probably be the best thing for him.
start somewhere.
from a
Um,
fantasy perspective, at
so from
least.
a dynasty perspective, I mean,
So
being
DJ Moore leaving, the biggest
22,
beneficiary is their backup tight end. You want to talk about Ben Sinnott? We've lost Mr. Munkers.
Okay.
I guess that about wraps it up then.
we're not talking about Benson it.
You you went dark. I wasn't sure.
What's that supposed to mean?
If you were talking just now, we couldn't hear you.
I know I didn't.
Okay, good. Then do you want to talk about Ben Sinnott?
Yeah, another
Oh
guy
my
that
God.
was top 30. He was 22 and you guys left him off the list. I don't know what you guys are smoking, but Ben Sinnott, uh, year two tight end. He was the first tight end off the board last year. Not true. He was the second tight end after Brock Powers. Um, we're just, I mean, he's following the Trey McBride career arc. Sat behind Zach Ertz for a year. We got to get to week 8, and then we'll see what happens from there. Not looking good. But
Who's
you
more
know,
likely to be on this list at this time next year, Cole Kmet or Ben Sinnott?
Ben Sinnott,
Who's more likely to be ranked in the top 12 between Ben Sinnott and Cole Kmet?
Ben Sinnott.
So why is Cole Kmet 6 spots higher than Ben Sinnott?
And in a different tier.
Yeah, at the top of his respective tier, out
Because
of guys who are going to produce this year.
because we're not doing our next year ranks, we're doing our dynasty ranks.
Okay,
And so
who's more likely to be on
will
this
look
list 2
different
years
year.
from now?
Ben Sinnott,
Who's more likely to be on this list 3 years from now?
Cole Kmet.
Oh God, that's the break point.
Yeah, it's the
That's
late
the break point. Okay,
it's his Evan Ingram arc.
okay, that's fair. We're all in on Benson or Cole Kmet now. 2028. 2028's the year, boys.
Hey, on this, what episode is this? 22. Episode 22, bookmark it for when Ben Sinnott is right after Trey McBride on the
I'm
KTC.
fine with your belief in Ben Sinnott. It's not a belief I have, but it's defensible. The Cole Kmet is the egregious one.
You act like 22 is like high. Like look at the names around him. You're talking about like
Okay, we're talking about a
what's
second round tight end now getting his first starting opportunity and ahead of him. We're talking about Hunter Henry, who we just talked about, and Glazed, K. Dotton, Evan Ingram, who you may be out on, but at least you know he's going to produce to some extent this year. Mike Gesicki in a top 3 offense in football. Okay, Dallas Goedert's not that fun.
Pat Fryermuth, talk about him.
I don't have him on my list ahead of. Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I
you
do. Yeah, Pat Fryermuth. Yeah, he's been
Yes.
good. He's the number 1 tight end in his offense.
Is he?
I don't know. I have 1A and 1B at 29 and 30.
He's more likely to be than Cole Kmet is to be on the Bears offense.
That's true, but the quality of offense is
will-
massive.
I will take shitty targets over no targets.
Yeah, I'm
No
not.
targets. All right, wait, did we already bet Fryermuth versus Kmet? Season.
I'm not
This
betting
season,
on
yeah, let's go.
Fryermuth versus Komet. I don't
Total
care enough
points.
about either of them.
Total
Well,
points, 15 games. Somebody
Tyler
make
is
the
a
bet.
total
Sure.
points merchant.
Got you. I got you, Sven.
And I'm going total points because Kmet's going to play all 17.
Oh, well, he's Tyler's kind of guy then. All 17 games, that guy better be out there. Tyler's in on him.
That's right.
Wouldn't expect to see him on.
Fryermuth gets dinked up though, like because he's a pussy.
I know. Tyler would never acquire a player like that.
Nope.
Wrapping up here. Got some spice towards the end, but overall, tight ends are the least fun position of the 4. Any other concluding thoughts from you guys?
No, this has been fun. We're so close.
You can smell football.
Yeah, we're like 17 days away, I think. So
I'm keeping
2 weeks.
receipts.
oh yeah, 2 weeks. Oh,
2 weeks from
15
tomorrow.
days.
We're
Yeah,
recording
15
on
days.
Wednesday here. 2 weeks from tomorrow, Thursday, NFL opener. I have to watch Dak Prescott against the Eagles defense because the Colts didn't start Anthony Richardson. So it's not going to be
That's
a fun
true.
night for me if I had to guess.
What do we have cooked up next week?
Next week, we've got some bangers. I'm happy you mentioned that. We will have our fine dining off-season recap episode dropping next week, which should be a banger. We're going to do a full revision of all of our power rankings. We're going to give who we think will make the playoffs, who we don't think will make the playoffs. Basically anything, best moves, worst moves, favorite off seasons, who traded away the best quarterback in NFL history this offseason, just recapping things like that. It should be a fun one. We're going to have an episode for our redraft league, which won't involve everybody in this league, but some of you it will. And then the following week, we're going to have 2 more episodes for those of you in the Guillotine League. We're going to have an episode about the Guillotine League, and then we'll wrap up with Cevan and I, potentially Tyler's involvement, given he has a few board bets that Cevan and I make throughout the year to prove that we're smarter than the other one. We make a whole list of them. We're going to have a whole episode going over all those bets. We'll have a poll so everybody can vote on which side they're taking. It sounds like we'll have to add a Pat Fryermuth versus Cole Kmet slide to that one, but it should be a really fun episode. I'm excited for that one. And Tyler will be married by that point. So
It's getting real, fellas.
football season's almost here.
Yeah. All the grinding that we did. I mean, the podcast alone has helped my ball knowledge significantly and helped form a lot of opinions rather than scrambling last second for redraft and stuff like that.
You know what a 9 route is now because of this podcast.
Exactly. If you don't know, now you know.
Okay.
Phil.
If you made it this far, we appreciate you listening to us ramble. Tune in next week for some good episodes, and we'll see you then.